Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Losing almost all my energy. It's getting hard to talk to you, and I'm the only one who speaks. It's all the things you never show. There are the things I want to know. Secrets start in your heart to slow. But if you don't want to tell me now, I guess I'll never know. Here we go.
Okay, guys. Hi, here we go for the round 2 live. Thanks again to Belynda and Bev for the earlier live today. As Belynda had told us that she'll be filing, that she has filed for temporary custody of Jack and Lily. I know we're fighting against the Emmanuel case that's going on as well. So many channels have moved over to that case. And of course, those parents were arrested today and stuff like that. And they're having a press conference. But anyways, we're Jack and Lily focused over here. So Charmaine and Kent, of course, are with us tonight, which is great. I know that I have been working, and next week will be the same. To be honest with you, you won't see me besides probably not till like next Friday again, to be honest with you. But anyways, hi Charmaine, hi Kent, hi everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I want to say that the documents that we're going to be talking about, amongst other things, we'll go over. Really, honestly, I can honestly say I do not suffer from headaches typically. And I've had a headache. Work has been stressful a little bit as well. So bogged down. But on top of that, I don't wake up with headaches, but I've woken up with a headache every day this week. I've had a headache. And this case, it literally, it hurts my brain. And it just more even hurts my brain. It's such a, what do I want to say, bullshit twisted case that's going on here with Jack and Lily that I don't even, like, seriously. My head's just spinning in circles, but I know I'll put it back together. But anyways, Charmaine, let's start off with you because you want to talk about stuff at the start here.
Yeah, so I have an update on the bench. It is in Winnipeg. It is en route right now to Moncton, New Brunswick, where a very nice lady is going to deliver it to Kent. But here's the thing, guys. And when I put this out to you, I'm hoping that there's no like hate or anything negative to be said. I am really looking for your input and just to talk about this with you. As you all know, when I built the bench, and I put Jack and Lily's name on it, my intention was to have that bench with their name on it so their names would be on it forever. It was built with the dedication to Jack and Lily. As a buddy bench for the school, I was hoping it was going to be used as a tool to help the kids, their little classmates, to feel included. But But this apparently
Charmaine? Charmaine? Can't hear you. Kent, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear Charmaine, can you?
No.
No. It's like somebody doesn't want her to speak all of a sudden. No. You
Did
just
she
cut
mute?
out.
Did she mute herself?
No, maybe on her. Charmaine, did you touch are you using this one? Go out. Go out. Okay.
She might have to go out and come back in like I did, where you guys couldn't hear me at the start.
Yeah.
If she can hear us.
Go out and come back in. Oh my goodness. It's 31. Go ahead.
So many people trying to use the internet, it might be crashing.
Yeah. Well, we'll just leave her for a second. Let her pop back in. Because Kent kind of had an issue too. It was like, Kent, before we came live on this. Go figure, right, Charmaine? Poor thing. Making her day even suck more. Anyways, you guys, if you guys haven't hit that like and the share, please do so. Again, keep the murdered and the missing out there. Let's see. Charmaine? Okay. Well, the bandwidth can crash. Sure can. Anyways, okay. Let's just see. We'll give Charmaine a second here, guys. I wonder what happened because she was talking fine.
And then just like she muted herself, or you muted her.
No, she's fine. Just so weird.
It's got to be something with Streamlabs.
I don't know about Streamlabs. Hi, Rhonda. It's just so weird because she was talking just fine.
Unless her mic gave up.
Look at her. Poor thing's talking to herself. I'm not no techie that way with mics. Check the cable. Is it plugged in? Did you accidentally? Yeah, because go back to your other mic. Can you go back to your computer one? Wait, did you hear something or is that you?
Probably me.
It's almost like lip reading. No, can't hear shit.
Mama Angie says she's freezing up too, so maybe it's her internet.
She was freezing up a bit, but try popping out and in again, Charmaine. Why don't you just do a system reboot? Just do a reboot. Just restart. Yeah. All right. Kent, we'll take it from here for now. Let's do that. Okay. So since Charmaine is having issues. Oh, look at this. See, hard reboot. Yeah. See? I mean, if all else fails, right? Yeah. Yeah, she might have to come in on her phone if that's the case. But anyways, okay. Kent.
Yep.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me about what your feeling was with today's article and how it left you feeling, or what. I don't know. Just tell me your thoughts, Ken.
Well, it's pretty interesting, as we were talking about before we come on. In Canada, we don't usually get released or redacted court documents. So it begs the question, was this in a preemptive response to Belynda's petition
Right. Right.
for
Well, what?
temporary custody, or were they planning on coming with something this week anyway? I'd like to know that. Not that it matters a whole lot, but it gives us a sense of whether they did it in response or reactive.
Why would you think that they
And
would do that, though?
well, like, it's hard to say. Well, like I say, if I would think either way, whether they done it as a preemptive thing in response to Belynda's petition, or whether they were preparing this anyways, I believe they might have done it because of the silence, to maybe break the silence, if you understand what I'm saying.
I do.
That, like, this stuff that we got today, other than corroborating and correcting some of the speculation that's out there, but you still got to remember that this is as of July 16th, right? It was stated as of July 16th.
Yes.
So that's still a month old. And so when you take that into effect and take into the amount of tips that they're up to and the amount of video, like, it's crazy. We're now up to over 9,300 video images, and we wonder why this case is taking so long. Like, you could have 100 people on that, and they're looking at these videos and photos and whatnot for the slightest discrepancy in the way things should be. So I think it's, like I say, to break the silence on their part. It's them that has created the silence.
Yeah.
But
Kent, 1 sec. See if
Yep.
Charmaine can talk to us. Still can't hear her. Can you come in through your phone? Can you come in through your phone? Can you come in through your phone? I wonder what's going on. What the hell? Can't hear shit. Can you come in through your phone? Come in through your phone?
yeah, I put that in the comments.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Because she was speaking fine, and then I don't know. Okay, so go ahead, Kent, since obviously we're having issues with Charmaine. Go figure. Weird.
She
Just
hadn't got her technical difficulties straightened out yet.
yeah, it just adds to her day today. Hey? Yeah, she'll have to come into her phone. Okay, so go ahead, Kent. Sorry about that. I just wanted to see if she could speak first of all.
Yeah, no worries. So, like I say, it's their silence that they've broken, and the information that they have given us have either corrected some things as far as timeline,
Mm-hmm.
proves other things as far as timeline, and corroborates some things stated by both sides of the family. But the big thing that stood out to me, and this is what pisses me off, is the only thing so far that I can say is 100% truth from either side, according to these documents. And these aren't, and get like, it's not, these aren't statements made from the RCMP to the public. These are sworn court affidavits that are redacted of information that they think that would be
Yeah.
problematic or harmful to the investigation. But anything that is already out there, they allowed it to go through. But it proves the only thing that is true is the 1001 911 call.
What about
Everything else has either, some things, like I say, have been corroborated on either side of the family, or some things have been strictly contradicted, such as the RCMP arrived there 12 minutes after. Well, we know that's not true no more.
I was gonna say, no, that's
It's
not
27
true.
minutes after.
Yeah.
And then by putting that together with the call being made to Cindy at 11:30, I get thinking today, because that's one thing that popped in my mind, is saying, well, okay, if it was 27 minutes for the manage got there, and if it was shortly after, well, that could have been another 15 or 20 minutes by the time that Cindy got there. So then we're looking at 45 minutes. And if they were a few minutes off, or as we seen on Malaya's phone that she had called Cindy at 11:30, well, that would put Cindy there traveling the speed limit, even if she was home by 12:15, which is around what other people say she got there.
Kent, I want to stop you for 1 second.
Yep.
Because this makes a lot of sense what Women's Warrior says. Sonny, in my opinion, RCMP know that Belynda is a warrior and has a lot of questions. And if she wins the guardianship, she can ask them questions, and she can ask for an investigation if she feels they miss things.
Yeah, but all right, but here's where that's opposite. And Belynda said this today, and she can correct me if I'm wrong, but Whatchamacallit also said it, is Belynda makes this petition, right,
Mm-hmm.
for temporary custody. If, and it's only if, and it's only Malaya, because Malaya has sole custody right now.
Right.
If Malaya contests it, then that's when Belynda can subpoena them, and she can ask them the questions on the stand in an open court under oath. Right?
Right.
But if Malaya says, go ahead, Belynda, take temporary custody, we're no further ahead as far as them answering questions to her. They don't go to court. Belynda is given temporary custody, and yes, Belynda can ask for more, and she will, as the primary temporary custody holder, will receive the priority and
Okay.
subsequent updates from the RCMP before anybody else would.
Okay. Now, can 1 second, because Charmaine, can you hear us?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time.
Well, yeah, you could hear us, but we couldn't hear you, so I don't know what it is. So, Kent, we're going to backtrack for a second because I want
Yep.
Charmaine, and then we'll come back to this part, okay?
Yep.
Okay, Charmaine, the benches, you were talking about those.
Okay, do you know when I cut off?
You were
Um,
just talking about the going into
the names on the
the
bench
yeah,
reason.
but just going into what the school
Hmm.
policy was when you stopped, Charmaine.
Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, the school board, it's against school board policy to have a memorial of any kind on school grounds. Okay, and I didn't think of this bench as a memorial. However, it can be looked at as such, and I understand that. So the principal had a meeting with their people, I guess, and they had child psychologists and stuff in there, and I guess it would be triggering for the kids to have this bench there with the kids' names on it. So the principal has asked me if it would be okay to put a plaque over top of the names that basically just say Buddy Bench on it. And at first, I was surprised that I hadn't considered that, it would be such a trigger for kids, because the last thing I want to do is cause any harm to kids. I thought it would be a good way to include them and to help them process the issue, but the school does not agree. And so then I changed my mind and I said, I built this bench so Jack and Lily would be on it forever. And basically I wanted my intention for the bench to be explained to the school a little bit better. So I did have a phone meeting with the principal today and I explained that to her, but it's still not up to her. It's not, it's kind of above her pay grade to make those decisions. She cannot grant permission to have a memorial at the school. So I mean, I have strong feelings about wanting Jack and Lily's name on this bench, but I also know that the school has very limited funding. I also know that this particular elementary school is one of the only schools in the county that does not have a buddy bench. And I would love to see them have buddy benches. Now, I kind of left it today with the thought, because I had heard there were 2 more benches coming from somewhere. And that's what I told the principal today, that as long as they're getting benches delivered to the school that they can keep there, I would prefer to keep Lily and Jack's names on my bench and have it placed somewhere else. But if they don't, if there's nobody that's willing to commit, and I don't mean just words, like get a bench built and, get it to the school so those kids also have a buddy bench, I would never be okay with it, but I would allow it. And I don't mean to say like it's my bench and I'll, you know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm getting at. But I would allow them to cover up Jack and Lily's names in the spirit of having something there for the children. So I would like you guys' thoughts on it. And I would also like to know from the people who said they were going to build a bench, are you going to build a bench? Mine only took so long, to be honest with you, because of the engraving, right? That was my
Yeah.
and it was important to me to have Jack and Lily's name on it. And the principal did give me, like, she did say that they do really want the bench at the school, but she understands if I choose to put it elsewhere, and she did give me a suggestion of where it could probably be placed, not far from the school. But like I said, I would like to
Yeah, I agree. I'd like it to go in Belynda's garden, if anything, before you cover up Jack and Lily's name. To be honest, but maybe there are some people, like you said, that some people said that they were gonna supply benches, right, Kent?
Well, that's the update that I've got. There was people in the chat that I took over from Lana that stated that they would be donating a bench and maybe even 2 benches. I've been trying to contact said person, had no reach back until this evening, but I still got no reply as to whether or not there are other benches to come. The other thing that the principal really liked, like I say, when I called her on Monday, or no, Tuesday, I started talking about that the bench should be here sometime probably next week. And maybe they want to do something around Every Child Matters Day or whatnot, which is towards the end of September. And she said, absolutely not. She said, I would love to have this in place for the start of school. And if you tell me that your group has a buddy bench coming, she said, I'm contacting the head office to have the appropriate area prepared on site to make sure of securement and whatnot. And the part that made me feel bad when I talked to her, and the reason why when she said this in our conversation, and I said, well, I will have to contact the person that donated it to make sure that she's fine with it, is because she said that there was somebody going to the school on Wednesday to register a new student. And they were driving to the school with, and that new student had a older sister. And for whatever reason, the older sister was going to the school with the mother and her little, I'm not sure if it was brother or sister. And she said, Ken, you probably know, but you have a couple signs now located on the road near the school. I said, yes, I believe so. I said, I don't think it's too far away. And she said, well, this little girl that was coming to the school with the new student seen the sign on her way to the school, and she said to her mother, oh, I forgot all about Jack and Lily. And then she started crying her eyeballs out. And when she got to the school, the teachers wondered why she was crying, because they knew it wasn't going to be her first day of school. And the mother explained that when they were coming to the school, coming up the road, she had seen the sign, and she said that she forgot about Lily, and that's when she started to cry. So that's where they think that this is a crisis intervention team that is made up of psychiatrists, psychologists, staff, and the principal. I think there's 5 of them on it. And that was the one that she originally had to go and make sure that they rest them. This principal has dealt with buddy benches at a school where she was at before. And like Charmaine said, this school doesn't have one at the present time. And they definitely still use it as a teaching tool and lesson. And they create a curriculum activity around it. So they, if the staff and the other kids knows that this is a buddy bench, this is the meaning behind a buddy bench, and if you see somebody sitting on a buddy bench, it's okay to go over to them and talk to them and see if they want to talk to a friend or if they just. And the staff is also informed that if they see a student sitting on the buddy bench, that the staff knows to either approach that student while they're at the buddy bench or fairly quickly after, not to make them feel uncomfortable, to see if they need to talk.
And
So,
I think we all know what the buddy bench is for at this point, but the point is, and I am not a harsh person, and I don't want to sound heartless, but that's the point. Lily and Jack shouldn't be forgotten. And how I am not these kids' parent. I am not a child psychologist, but their names shouldn't be forgotten. And the kids are going to notice that those that Jack and Lily are not at school, and they're going to have questions. And my intention was to give them some kind of a tool to help them feel included, like they were doing something. And unfortunately, the school board disagrees. Kim, I have talked to Belynda extensively about this, and she's on the same page as me, and she would love to have the bench. However, both of us would like to see it be used for its intended purpose, for kids or anybody who's feeling left out or lonely or somebody that needs to talk, to be able to have a place to go where they don't have to speak up. They just have to sit down, and people will know why they're there and pay attention, not look the other way. I, like I said, I am not harsh and I'm not trying to be heartless, but it's not, it wasn't in my plan to have to figure out a way to remind little children about Jack and Lily. I guess I assumed parents would do that on their own because they're important and their lives meant more than what they've added up to. They're more than just a news story. And they're more than just names on a bench. They're to be remembered and celebrated. And
they'd be proud to have their little handprints on there.
And
like,
that's what I said. Like I don't need to be pristine. I said, for the kids to decorate it or handprints or whatever. And I know I'm sounding a little bit defensive about it, but I want my intention for the bench known, and now it is, but it's not going to change anything. So I wanted everybody's feedback because I respect what everybody thinks in this chat. And I wasn't sure if I was, because it's not an ego thing at all. And I flipped the board the other way so Jack and Lily's name are on the back and cover mine and Ian's name up, if that's what it takes. But you know what I mean? So I just wanted everybody's feedback, and I really want to know who else is building the buddy bench? Who said that they were going to build a buddy bench, and is the school going to get it? Because I want to make sure that they get a bench, whether it's mine covered up or somebody else.
Go
And
ahead.
that's what I'm checking on. I don't have confirmation yet, but, and I'm not going to mention the name out here tonight because I don't want anybody,
Yeah. No, absolutely.
especially, but I had made a couple phone calls today as well because, like I say, and I'm not blaming Charmaine. That's not any of this. Like, there was no foul on anybody's part in this at all. It, like the principal said, it was just that there's a rule from Senecto Central School Board, no memorials on school board property. And then the other fact that the psychologists and psychiatrists on the crisis intervention team thought that it would be a constant reminder and possibly a trigger for some students. And that's the two questions that they had about it, right, Charmaine?
Why don't they ask the children? I'm sure the children would have a different thought if they were asked to be involved in putting their handprints on it. But no, we have to have these adults that want to do all the thinking, acting like children, should be always like, this is what happens. I'm sorry, but in life, these little Powerpuff fucking lifestyles that we live nowadays, because they're too busy always saying like, oh no, can't do this. Oh no, can't do that. I mean, we grew up in a world. I grew up in a world where I'm just fine. Charmaine, are you fine?
Usually.
You okay? Most times, can't you doing pretty good?
I
You know,
am, but not necessarily with other people's opinions.
good. No, but it's so
No,
sickening.
I understand totally. And like I say, that's where I was going. Um, because like I say, I know why Charmaine built the bench. I understand that totally. And with the suggestion that the principal gave us, and I think there's a couple suggestions that I've seen in the chat that I could inform Charmaine about. And if she absolutely decides that that is what she needs to feel, that's totally fine, as the principal said today. And I will know next week by the time that Charmaine has to make a decision, yay or nay. I will know if I got somebody, a local carpenter for sure, willing to build another bench so that Charmaine can put hers where she feels that she wants it to go. And
Can
the
it
school will still receive a buddy
Cool.
bench.
can it
I
still
want
go near?
school,
Oh
but
God,
whatever.
what'd you say,
Set up.
Charmaine?
Charmaine wants it to be at the school, but I
I
I want
understand
their
that,
name.
but I know, and I would too. I totally see that. I never thought about a memorial being on school property. Like, I never ever thought of that. And I didn't probably even think of the trigger until she explained the case to me about it being a trigger. But
Of course.
We could
sometimes,
we could talk about that all night long because
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
all just a matter of opinion, and children, they do not have the life experience to be reminded day in and day out of
that's what
this
she said. Yeah.
terrible thing that's happened. And I understand that, and I feel terrible that I didn't consider that. However, I think that, and I'm not judging anybody, but I think that parents need to do a better job when something like this happens. You can't hide the fact, you can't sweep it under the rug. You have to
Right.
protect your children at all costs, but part of doing that is being honest with them, gently honest, and age appropriately honest with them. But I do have a little bit more of a pleasant thing that I want to talk about when it comes to the bench. if we can move on now that everybody's giving their opinion, and like I said, I'm going to consider it. I'm going to wait and make sure that that school is getting a bench one way or the other, and if it has to be mine with the names covered up, then so be it. But anyways, moving on. The other day, I borrowed a truck because I just have a little SUV. I borrowed a truck and I took the bench, crate and all, to Kelowna. About an hour away, was no big thing. And I basically, long story short, Sky Painter paid for the shipping, you guys. So unbelievable. You guys, if you want your donations back for shipping, let me know. You can have the money back. And
Give me it back, Charmaine.
I will be donating the money to Ground Search and Rescue. So that is amazing. And Sky Painter is in the chat. She gives
Nice Sky Painter.
She gives me updates every morning where the bench is. And like I said, it was in Winnipeg this morning. It's making really good time. And so yeah, everybody give Sky Painter so much love, and let me know if you want your donations back. And if I haven't heard in a couple of days, then the money is going to go to Ground Search and Rescue.
Charmaine, I want it back $1 at a time.
And while we're talking on that, I want to add a little bit to that, because Charmaine said first that the bench was going to be shipped to Moncton, whether or not if I could get there. And I said, yes, I'll make sure that I get there or somebody gets there to pick it up. And she said, well, it can also be taken to Truro. And I said, well, if you can take it to Truro, I can definitely go and get it. It's only 40 minutes away. So after she ships it, she says, yeah, Erin, and the way that she spells her name is Erinn. She said she's gonna take the bench from Moncton to Truro meet you. And I said to myself, I said, there's only so many people that spell that name that way. And I said to Charmaine, I said, does this woman's last name happen to be so-and-so? Yeah. I said, did she happen to mention that she knows me? Well, yeah, that come up. I said, we went to high school together. I said, we worked politics for the NDP here for 15, 20 years together. And so now she's going to pick it up in Moncton and bring it right to my house. So, Erin, I want to say thank you for that. And it's a reconnection. Small world, folks, when everybody comes together.
Absolutely. Is that a small world? It is. It is. Isn't that a small world, eh?
It is, and it's crazy how much, little things turn into huge things. Like, we're taking this bench from the West Coast to the East Coast in under a week's time, you guys. Like,
representing the West Coast, yes.
It's not like the little Christmas gift or something.
Yeah.
This is a whole ass bench going from coast to coast for Jack and Lily. It's insane, the hearts that people have out there.
Yeah, Daleen. Let's bring up Daleen again. Daleen Thomas for doing pro bono for Belynda on the fight for temporary custody for Jack and Lily, and Sky Painter. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for everyone that donated for the shipping of this bench, like Charmaine was talking about. And then Sky Painter, I guess, comped that one. So thank you guys all for your beautiful hearts out there. And yeah, want to say that. And I don't want to ever talk about politics. Hardly ever. I can't even believe that I heard that when I seen it. I was like, politics, 20 years, right?
Oh, it's a good argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we're going to get back into the articles, before we do, I would like to give another update on the signs.
Okay, go
Um,
ahead. Yeah, let's do that, and then we'll get into the.
yeah,
Unless okay, Charmaine, are you done with the bench thing for now, or?
I am.
Okay.
Everybody should know my email address. If if you have suggestions or want to share your thoughts with me, just don't email Sunny because she doesn't read anything. Email me truecrimestorypod@gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat in a little bit. And yeah, we'll talk. And the bench is due to be delivered on the 27th. So we have until then to make up our mind. And it's going to Kent's house first. So we do have extra time, So just let me know what you think and we'll talk about it and we'll make it okay for everybody.
I'm
That's
not
all
okay. I'm not okay.
I'm not okay either. Like
I know.
it breaks
I
my
know.
heart to think that
You poured your heart and soul into this, by the way, bench. And Kent will come right back to you. You poured your heart and soul into this bench for Jack and Lily. It. I do not want to see it covered up at all. I'm sorry, but I don't. That's my personal opinion. Somebody said something about being in the churro park or whatever, something like that. But anyways, I don't want to see it covered up myself at all. Zero. Okay, that's my opinion. It was meant.
there is a public park just a little ways down from the school. It's called Salt Springs Provincial Park. The principal actually suggested that as a backup if I choose not to put the plaque on it. But
Yeah.
there are options. And I did talk to Belynda about her thoughts, and she agrees with me. It should be placed somewhere where it can be put to good use. Not that she wouldn't cherish it in her garden, but it needs to be put to use. So
Yeah. Okay. And Kent, go on about the signs. Thanks, Charmaine.
so I'd just like to inform everybody that we have another run that we have done to the city of 12 or 15 more signs to the city. I sent the PDF file to Jess in BC. I think she's going to try to print some out there because last night when she was messaging me, and this is just from the chat, I don't know if she's here tonight, but she messaged me about possibly shipping one of the 4x4s from here to BC. And although it's only weighs about, well, I said max would be 10 pounds and the dimensions, she she had a quote, I believe it was over $500 or almost $500 to ship this little 7.5 pounds of signage to BC from Pictou. So
Dang.
I sent her the actual PDF file, and I think she's going to print a
Yeah.
few out there to print them in BC. And then we've got probably
It's got
10 or 12 that are left of the first run of 50. And when we sell the rest of them or get them out in locations, because I've had 3 people now, including Sunny, I'd like to say thank you for yours. The other 2 aren't online, so I would say thank you to them, but I do in general, but they're not known to be online. So they have paid for some signs so that we can put them in high traffic locations. So we are starting to get a couple of them out as well. And the new, or not the new, but the 4x4, we have a new location for. It's going back to exit 19 tomorrow on Highway 104 Trans-Canada. This time it will be more or less facing the westbound lanes, and that's going to Ross Fraser Auto Sales. and exit 19 is the end of the road that the 289 comes up to. So it is, and it's a good location right at an interchange for the 289 highway from the Trans-Canada Highway. So I think that'll be a good location. It'll be there for a couple weeks. And yeah, and then Sunny has a little video. I don't know if she got a chance to crop it yet with her busy schedule this week, but somebody had sent me well, it's a 9-minute video as it is, but I only appear in it for about 30 seconds going through the Thorburn Parade with the sign on the back of the truck. So I asked Sunny if she could crop that and shorten it, and then we can show it here when she gets that. If she doesn't want to show the full 9 minutes, because like I said, it's just a bunch of stuff driving by. So
when did you send it? I have no knowledge.
Oh, I sent that to you Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
You want me to send it again?
Yeah, I never saw it.
Did you email it? Because it wasn't coming through.
No, I couldn't. I can't send it as an email attachment. It won't allow me. It's too big.
Well, no, it will send it as in Google Drive is what it will do.
I don't know how to do that.
No, it automatically do it.
Yeah, and then you just have to, it'll ask you if it's okay with anybody with a link to open it. You click yes.
Okay, well, I may have to call for some guidance through it, but I'll try. When I originally sent it, I just sent it in Messenger.
Okay, is it in Messenger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first time it didn't go through, but the second time, I know I sent it to other people. It took a while for it to go through, and then it did. So I waited a little bit, and I resent it, and I think it went through the second time.
Send it to her separately outside of the group, so it's not trying to send it to two places.
Okay. All right, I'll try that tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it actually picked up the music good as I'm going by, so it was pretty good. Short, but good.
Yeah, so, and I want to say this. I do not like multitasking. I have been swamped at work, and when I work. I don't really spend too much time on my phone on stuff like that unless I get my little quick breaks in and stuff like that. Right? Because obviously I'm there to work. But anyway, so I tried on my little breaks and lunches, and it's these 12 to 8 shifts. I want to say that they're mentally draining. And by the time I'm done. I just want to hop in my bed and go to sleep. And then I'll wake up, and then I'll look at some things till about, because if it's the 12-day shift, I can stay up till like 3 or 4 kind of looking at some things and whatever. But Kent, you and Charmaine, like you guys flow in the thing, and I probably didn't see 3/4 of it this week. Let alone Charmaine leaving me a message with, well, if you would read your message or listen to your messages, I wanted to talk to you. And I'm like, I know a message. And then I looked up.
I just didn't want you to think that I was keeping anything from you when I had that big news.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
And the funny part of that, she wanted to talk to you about the thing that you wanted to talk to her about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And then you leave us messages, voice clips. And there's absolutely no voice there at all. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's when I mute myself. Sometimes I leave messages that are muted and I forget that I got my thing. But anyways, Kent, if you do want to resend it, I can.
Yeah, I will try, like I say, on Messenger first. And if not, I'll be looking for some.
Or just send it to the email, because a Google Drive will automatically send it to Google. Like I said, I send large attachments, and it always will go as
but
a
Google. I tried to send it today, and it said that the file was too big.
Through Google? Gmail?
Through my Gmail, yeah.
Yeah. No, does it for me all the time.
Yeah,
okay, I'll try it.
Oh, yeah, it
Like I
automatically
say,
does.
I'm no technological wizard, so if
No
it tells
problem.
me you can't do something, then I take it that they can't do it.
Okay. Well, I apologize because, like I said, my next week I'm 12 to 8s as well. Sunday 10 to 6, and yeah, they're just exhausting shifts. It's like taking up your whole darn day. You know, I'm not that person. Okay. I'm just not that person that gets up at 7 o'clock in the morning and starts cleaning, and stuff like that. I will get every ounce of sleep that I can because I've usually stayed up late the night before I have to start work. Right. So, yeah. So is what it
Uh,
is.
just really quickly, I talked to Ian about this whole thing because everybody knows he built the bench for me, and he's such a sweet man. You know what he said?
What?
He said, "Well, their names are always going to be on it. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there." And I was like, "Shut up! You can't
Shut up,
talk."
Ian. That sounds like Kent. That almost sounds like something
That
Kent would say. Shut it. Shut it. Good fight, though. I get
Men, the way men think, right?
trying to make you feel better. Right. My husband, he just go, well, that sucks. And then he'd go, I'm going to go back to gaming now. Yeah, you know what? I do want to say what sucks is that there's barely anyone covering Jack and Lily besides a few channels too much. Everyone has been on the Emmanuel case, and rightfully so, you guys. Cases, this bottom line is cases, they come and go. That's the way it works. They start getting cold, less people start covering them and stuff like that. And that's just how it goes. Right. And so, of course, whenever a new case, like something as just horrific as Emmanuel's case there, where the parents were arrested and stuff like that. Right. Again, if there's nothing really happening in a case and it starts drying up, as we call it, in a sense, then people just move on. It's natural. So I'm sorry, you guys, that I can only do my lives when I can do my lives, for Jack and Lily and stuff like that. But hopefully, some people will bounce back from Emmanuel's case and go back to Jack and Lily and cover that. But, there's just there's so many other cases out there. And again, when there's nothing really happening and you really can't take it further, channels just move on. It's that simple, right? So in this case,
It
there's
was
still
quiet until we got the news today.
right, and then it's gonna get quiet again unless people bounce back off of Emmanuel on there. Thanks,
Oh,
Meg
I
Mac.
think this will be all over the other channels tomorrow.
Well,
What's it
it will.
called had some discussion on it tonight.
Yeah,
Granny's watching or whatever it's
I've
called.
never watched her. Yeah, I've never. I think
I
I've.
think I think Justin done a short live this afternoon. I don't know because I was watching Dago, so I didn't go to it. But I know I got a notification that he was going live, and I thought it said something about Jack and Lily, but I'm not positive on that. But
Mhm.
everybody else, I told them they're all in the comments. Big news! You should be covering Jack and
Well, we'll
Lily.
see. We'll see what this triggers out there. To be honest
Oh,
with you, you know, because it is sad, and this is why I'm saying, right? So, there's tons of family members out there that only wish to have coverage of their cases, right? And if anyone's going to keep it alive, it's the true crime community. The news is only going to do things, here and there, and then they're going to be there. Like if this case goes on, like for let's say another year, right, or more, longer, then it just becomes about little updates, maybe perhaps if something comes out, and anniversary dates about a year, like you know like kind of like what's happening with Sebastian Rogers case, right? And so the true crime community is the place where, like I said, to be a voice, to be a voice for Jack and Lily, for the family members that want to speak out. Again, it's going to be the YouTube channels, really, and that are really gonna, you know, have the awareness still going on, because just like there's people that cover, you know, Sebastian's case, but from where it started off to where it is now is very nominal, right? And the same thing will happen here. That's just the way it goes, you know, and it's sad because, again, these twisted cases, but after a while, like, what can you keep talking about, right? Like, I'm not the type of person myself to regurgitate the same information over and over, right? It doesn't feed my soul just to do, like, I never do anything unorganically. It has to always be because I'm doing it, right? So this channel, you guys, is dedicated to Jack and Lily. And let's see how it goes. As far as I'm concerned, I want to say I think that the RCMP don't have shit to go on, obviously. Now, you know what? Let's get into the article. Are we ready to go into the article, or let me play this quickly first? Are you guys ready to go there?
Sure.
On there? Okay. Let's do that. Thanks, McMac. Okay.
Martell has known since the day Jack and Lily disappeared that he was a suspect. He's been their stepfather for more than 2 years, living together in this trailer. Martell says that's why he has fully cooperated with police.
Everything from my phone, doing a polygraph exam, and just ask them to do, you know, here you go, search everything, do everything you can for the kids, right?
Freshly unsealed court documents detail how RCMP combed through bank records, phone data, and GPS locations. Investigators wanted to know the exact whereabouts of Martell and the children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, in the days leading up to the children's disappearance, and cross-reference that information with the statements they gave to police. The documents reveal that as of July 16th, investigators did not believe the case was criminal. By that point, 6 polygraph tests had been done, including on both Brooks Murray and Martell. They were also done on Martell's mother, on Brooks Murray's mother and her partner, and on the children's biological father. Brooks Murray was given a polygraph in what police describe as an effort to eliminate her as a suspect in causing her children's disappearance and possible murder. She passed, and so did Martell.
They've done a full background check as much as they could possibly do. And I mean, I'm pretty thankful for them to spend the time and spend the resources to try to figure out everything.
An extensive search on Martell's property and the surrounding 8.5 square kilometers has turned up only a few clues. One was a boot print matching Lily's size 11 feet. Another was a pink blanket hanging from a tree found by family members of the children's mother. A piece of blanket was also seized from a garbage bin at the end of the family's driveway. Martell says it was the same blanket, but it had been ripped apart and thrown out.
I mean, it's mysterious as it is because the distance from the garbage bin to where the blanket was found is almost 1 kilometer.
RCMP have previously said Lily's blanket was sent for forensic analysis. To date, police have received 740 tips and more than 9,300 videos, and say a tremendous amount of careful, deliberate, investigative work is ongoing to locate Lily and Jack. Angela McIver, CBC News.
Okay, now I'm sorry, but one of the things I caught in there was, Daniel, are you sure that you're willing to allow all those resources to be used? I don't know. Yeah, I'm willing to allow all the resources. I think, good place. But anyways, okay, so let's get into this. Who wants to speak first? Kent or Charmaine?
I think I'm going to let Kent go first because I really don't know what to say because of how angry today made me. So I'd like to, you know what? I think if Kent talks, I will have a good, no offense, Kent, but I will have a good leg to stand on because I enjoy arguing with you. And I don't know where to start. So I'd like to hear from Kent, and then I will pick him apart.
Okay.
I was just going to say, you're going to get mad at me.
No, she's holding on to that. She's had a rough day, Kent. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah. But anyways, so I mean, again, you guys know that me, Kent, and Charmaine all have our opinions. And, so with that being said, Kent, go at her. Well, you know
Well,
what? No, I know we started talking about it when Charmaine obviously muted herself, whatever she
yeah.
did there. But yeah, go on with what you were saying there.
I know what everybody's going to say when I say what I want to say. They're
Yeah.
going to tell me that I'm sticking up for Daniel. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm looking at the information and I'm trying to read between the lines because sometimes they tell us stuff. But if I was to be judging of the information that came out today, I would say that it doesn't look very well for Malaya. I think it corroborates some of the stuff, and I understand people. Daniel has lied to us, but this corroborates some of the stuff that he's told us. Does it mean that it's true? No, but it does mean that there's other factors or evidence that is leaning to that conclusions. And the big thing that I got that, like I say, out of today, when as we were talking earlier, is the only truth that we've got from anybody, as far as from Daniel or Malaya, that has been proven on both sides there, and then from what the RCMP states, is the goddamn time of a 911 call. And as Sonny states, I think that that's pathetic because there's other stuff that this, and like I say, these aren't, because I was listening to the live earlier today, and I know Belynda asked Bev the question of whether or not the RCMP can lie to the media. 100% they can. But that's not what this is, folks. This is statements, sworn affidavits that the RCMP asked the courts to release, which we never get in Canada. And like I say, I'd like to know if it was preemptive or reactionary from Belynda's petition for custody. Did they react and say, holy frig, we better start releasing a little bit because she's not going to let up, which, as we all aren't, and or did they have this coming down the pipe and it's just coincidence, the same as the other 1,000 factors in this case? Some interesting information that I found, and I question, was the fact that on May 3rd, for anybody who hasn't read the articles, now I know there is a little bit different information in each of the articles. I read the CBC and CTV written article, and I watched the CTV news at 6 p.m. But from those three, one of the things that I picked up is that Malaya called the RCMP at 12:45 a.m. on May 3rd and reported that she thought that Cody was the one that picked up the kids.
Right?
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 Like, come on, distractionary, send them in the other direction or keep them local because they're going the other way. Like that, and then, but the thing that I don't understand about that is she made the comment that he took them to New Brunswick. Did she
Right.
not think that they were going to check road cameras and whatever and compare it to whatever vehicles he had access to to see if those vehicles, and then ask him and see what he would say, whether he was in New Brunswick at those times, and he's got an alibi as well, probably because he's living with his mother, and so therefore his mother can say, well, no, at that time in question, he was here. So did he pay somebody else to pick them up to take them to New Brunswick? Come on. I think you all know where I'm heading with this, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, so that
I
was
don't.
shocking. What?
Spell it out. Say it. Where are you heading with
Well,
that?
like it just said Malaya, like that puts the focus on her. And that's why I was saying earlier, when you were trying to get in, Charmaine, I said, because we were talking about Belynda's petition and how Belynda will get to subpoena Malaya and Daniel and Janie as the ones being on the property and ask them questions under oath. And I said, yeah, we will if Malaya contests it. But if she doesn't contest the contemporary custody order, we just go along as the way we are now. The only thing is, Belynda becomes the primary contact and gets all the information before anybody else. Is that a good thing? Absolutely, definitely. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean, that petition doesn't automatically mean that Malaya and Daniel are going to get hauled into court and have to testify under oath. And I would love that to be the result. So I would love Malaya to contest it. But will she? And then that's not a child protection case. This is a court case. So then it's got to work its way through the court system. How long is that going to take? We might have results from the investigation before we get through the courts, if it's like anything else. And who's to say that if they don't go there, but if they do go through the courts, well, then we might find something out because they have to testify under oath. But that goes back to the statements that they made to the RCMP and or public. All we can do is compare. And like I say, I think the articles today have all put a little bit of more pressure on Malaya in what she had said.
Can just quickly remind me, who was it that said that they'll be tucking the kids in New Brunswick?
That was Shelby Robinson's sister.
Shelby
It wasn't,
Roberts.
from what I understand, it wasn't Shelby. It was
Right.
Shelby's sister. She's supposed to be the psychic.
The psychic.
And that was in the argument in the driveway. It was somebody was supposed to have overheard. I can't remember who it was that told the public, but somebody stated that in amongst that fight in the middle of the driveway, a statement was made by this person saying that the kids are safe being tucked into bed in New Brunswick, and she was going to be seeing them tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure that was Durwood.
So wait a second. And I think Durwood. Oh, okay. I think Durwood's here. So wait, her name is Shelby McNutt. That's Lori McNutt's sister, then?
No, not McNutt. Robinson.
Oh, okay. Robinson. Hey,
No,
get it.
Robson.
Get it right,
R-O-B.
Yeah.
R-O-B-S-O-N.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's Malaya's friend.
Right.
And they were in the driveway. They were over help searching, and they were in the driveway. And that's what was said, is that the psychic was supposed to have said, the psychic friend was supposed to have said that they were in New Brunswick being tucked in bed.
Is that because Malaya was saying that Cody is the one that had the kids and that they're on their way to New Brunswick? Is that why that was possibly said? Mrs. Psychic asking.
I don't have a clue.
I know, but kind of goes hand in hand almost with it, doesn't it? You know, if Malay is
Yep.
accusing Cody, then I can then.
But why? Like, why would she call?
I didn't say
Like,
that.
no, but I'm asking, why would she call the RCMP major crimes at 12:45 a.m. in the morning on May 3rd and state that she thought that Cody had picked the kids up and
Psychic told her. Maybe it's me first. Maybe the
maybe
psychic told
I
her.
get what you're getting there, but I don't know about that. But so that was huge for me, and then the fact that Daniel said in the article that he went to bed that second night at 9:00 because he was tired from searching all day. Okay, maybe he did search all day. I don't know if he did or not. I wasn't there. But the RCMP went there at 2:52, I think it said. Now, this stuff that I'm talking here is coming from the CBC. Like I say, I know the other two articles had a little bit different information and not sure. So I just want to tell you where I'm speaking from as far as this information was the written article CBC. And as far as I know, I think it was the first one that came out. And then CTV came 10 minutes later, and then the Globe and Mail was a little bit later, and Global was right around the same time as the Globe and Mail. The four of them all came out within a couple of hours of one another. So the RCMP then went and took her statement at 2:52. Then they went and visited Belynda and Cody to see if the kids were with him. And I believe Belynda told us the first time they went to see Cody was in the middle of the night. So is that why they went to Belynda's early in the morning and knocked on the door to see if the kids were there because Malaya had called and suggested that? Like, it's just, it was unbelievable. And I'm not laughing at the case, but I'm laughing at the information because it's just unbelievable the way that it's coming out.
Yep. I agree with Rachel Welsh here. I believe the RCMP is throwing out a net and see what they catch, so to speak.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wouldn't put a bet on that at all. But this information, everything that we got today,
yeah,
like I say, I don't think it has, like, it's already been out there in one form or another, except for about Malaya calling the RCMP and stating that Cody was the one that picked up the kids and that time. Everything else, we've heard it from one side or the other in one form or another. Truth or lies. And except for that was the only thing that's new. So I can honestly, like you say, that the RCMP will put it out there and see what comes flying back in the boomerang.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just quickly, that's right. In the messages to Belynda, Malaya told her that she has reason to believe that they were picked up, and that the police want to talk to Cody. That's right. Malaya did say that in the messages.
Well, I guess they do because she's the one that made the statement that he was the one that did it.
Yeah, exactly.
So she was able to forewarn Belynda on that one, but
yeah,
it's not what we knew.
And I mean, for me personally, and I said this earlier on the other live, this only okay. So regardless how people feel, right? So again, this article to me just basically this whole thing was, well, you guys, I guess we should stop thinking that Daniel Malay had any part, almost of it, that really these children are missing somewhere. And Daniel and Darren and all that are going, Yeah, you know what? Told you so, guys. I'm right. No. You passed what they put out 4 questions and stuff like that. But anyways, I see this as well. You know what? No, I don't want to say detrimental. That would be wrong because there is a slim chance still that this could be actually true. I just think that it's like
It's beyond belief.
it's beyond belief because why was it so hard to get truth out of these people on the property? Why is the mother hiding then if the children, why is she hiding? Because I mean, honestly, so it does go in favor of Malaya, like, hey, Malaya, hand over the kids, where did they go, type of thing. But then again, you go back to the timeline, you think of what Daniel said about the pink blanket and all that stuff, you think about the inconsistencies, the timeline again, based on their versions of events, and it's just a big muddle of a bunch of inconsistencies. Okay, and like this should not be happening if the truth is being told. So if they're feeling the cops, like, so this is a hard one for me because okay, so they passed certain questions, did they fail other ones? I don't know.
Exactly. Like we know that Daniel passed on the 4 questions about death.
And Malaya.
That's all they stated. They didn't say, and I don't believe that there was only 4 questions, folks. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But and that's why I say you still got to read between the lines of what they're telling us and what they're not telling us. Because when they say that Daniel answered the questions about 4 questions dealing with death, and they believe he was truthful, but what other questions did you ask? And did they come back as truthful as same as Malaya?
Why would she even think that Cody took these kids that hasn't seen them in 3 years?
Did you hear what I said? Distraction.
Well, yeah, distraction.
It would be distraction either to keep them local or send them the opposite direction, because sending them to Halifax is opposite of New Brunswick. And Belynda sends down or lives down Muscatawbut somewhere. So to send them down there is the opposite direction of what. But like that's why I say in the same statement. In the same statement, she said that he took them to New Brunswick.
But if they're all being truthful, let's just say hypothetically, they're all being truthful on their polygraphs. Bullshit. They're all being truthful. Then guess what? It must have been a stranger abduction somehow in the gold tan car. May 31st, a tip comes in because someone decides to throw in a tip about someone that's 9 and 10 years old and blah blah blah.
But that's what I mean. I don't take that tip as credibility because she said that the kids looked older to be 10 and 12 years old. And yes, you could possibly, not saying you would, but if you weren't up close, you could possibly confuse a 6 and 10-year-old, but you're not confusing a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old. I'm sorry, there's no way. Like, unless one's and I don't mean this from prejudice, unless one's a midget, there's going to be a big difference between a 4-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Absolutely. Okay. Now, 1 second, Ken. Hold on. Oh my goodness, what's happening with my internet?
Oh, you freezing now?
I think so.
Well, the only other comment that I have on that is the comment that you got in your chats from Malaya, where she told us the story that they're all telling to the public.
Ken?
Yeah? I'm talking.
Oh, you cut out there for a sec, though.
Well, the story that Malaya told us that remember in the comments to you or the conversation with you, she told us that the story that that everybody is saying to the public and the one that they're saying to the RCMP is different, right? Because she said Daniel's lying to the media, but he's not lying to the RCMP.
Right. Now, every time I say Charmaine's name, I suddenly freeze. Charmaine, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Are you ready to chime in yet?
Sure.
Okay. Go for it.
Well, I've heard today that these articles are based on court documents filed by the RCMP, and I have been relatively vocal in saying that is extraordinarily rare in Canada for us to receive court documents in an ongoing investigation, let alone court documents that were filed by the RCMP. In fact, it is unheard of, okay? Number one. Number two, there are hundreds of pages of heavily redacted court documents, and we received articles based on some of that information, okay? So not only do I think that the RCMP cherry-picked what was going to be released, I believe that the media also cherry-picked the information that they were putting out from those court documents. So, court documents, and we need to see the court stamp date on those court documents so that we can actually see a timeline of the investigation, where the RCMP were at what point. Because I think we can all collectively agree, unless we're completely ignorant, that there is no way that the RCMP are still going on the premise that abduction is out of the question, number one. They haven't ruled it out. They had no evidence to support an abduction. That's why no Amber Alert. So at this point, I think it's fair to say that the kids were abducted. They did not wander into the woods. And it doesn't matter if it's a family or a stranger, an abduction is an abduction. That is just long and short of it. End of story there. So the kids have been abducted. That's what I'm taking from it. And they're investigating all of these crazy theories. But here's the thing. No matter what Malaya has tipped in, and no matter what Daniel has lied about, the kids still aren't located. There's no way that anybody's ever going to convince me that more than one person is going to be able to keep a secret and keep kids out of the public eye completely for over 3 months without a single sighting. And about that sighting, that Natasha, whatever, the tan or gold car lady, riddle me this. Who put Lily in piggy tails? Wasn't Malaya. Certainly wasn't Daniel. Even if it was them, who did her hair? It's bullshit. Not only that, these kids that were cited in that tip were dressed for summer and weather in boots. So just a little bit of reality and scrutiny when we're looking and reading through these articles, because we're not actually seeing the court documents, which probably, like I said, were specifically cherry-picked, I believe, to get ahead of what Belynda, she gave them a courtesy call to tell them what she was planning on doing. And I think this was an attempt to get ahead of it. And yes, I will admit, Daniel looks pretty squeaky clean at the end of it. Unless they've cherry-picked the first couple of months or even the first few weeks And it doesn't include any of his inconsistent statements. It doesn't include any of his bizarre behavior, nothing like that. It doesn't
Correct.
include the things that Malaya has done in the meantime. So as of July 16th, the RCMP do not think that it's a criminal, however it was worded, whatever, whatnot. Well, that's well over a month ago now. And can we just, right now, we are not going to be able to rewind and figure out what had happened up to July 16th. But I'm not willing to hang my hat on Malaya is guilty and Daniel is innocent. And we should just take these articles and start talking about the facts in those articles, because that is the least of the information, the least of it.
Doesn't it somewhat
In
come
my
off
opinion.
like a tabloid article? Like it really did to me as well. Someone just said that. But that's what it came across to me. Like this whole article came across like I was reading like the Star or, you know, the Inquirer is how it actually kind of
Just
came across.
excited to get some kind of an update, especially, like I said, in Canada, getting court filings filed by the RCMP is unheard of, you guys. Unheard of. We need to see those court documents. If redacted or not, I don't care. But I want to see the court stamp date on every one of those documents. Because to me, it is next to meaningless, because it's just giving us a recap of what went on the first few weeks. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the other thing that I said, that this information, people, as the RCMP is talking, is as of July 16th. So that's over a month old. So I would have liked to have seen them make at the end of the statement or whatever, and according to these court documents, say, okay, well, now we're considering this to be a criminal investigation, or as of August 21st, we still don't believe it's this, or this. But they didn't say that. They said they're looking at every possibility.
Mm-hmm. Right, because they got nothing.
Cherry-picked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they're like Sonny says, they're summarizing the information that has gotten out there through family on either side that wouldn't harm or they don't think would harm their investigation. And like I say, the only
Not
thing that is
only
really
not harm the investigation, have zero impact other than giving us fodder to talk about.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And hopefully the correct person responds in a way that, like I say, it's coming back in the boomerang, is what they're hoping the messages come back on the boomerang.
Right.
To trip people up. Because, like I say, they can lie to the public if they're making a statement to the media. I totally agree with Bev's scenario this afternoon, where absolutely they could put out on truths. But when you have court affidavits, those have been sworn into testimony as stated to be the truth. It doesn't
And
mean that they're
everybody,
proven to be the truth, but they're stated at the time of record to be the truth.
so these, and I don't know who knows this or not, but any court filings when it comes to a case is part of the trial process, right? So if nobody, especially not RCMP law enforcement, nobody is going to put a false statement into a court record just for public consumption if it's
No.
full of lies. It is against the law to lie in a court of law, and RCMP could lose their job. So my point is, all of these court documents that the articles were based on, they're early on in the investigation, and nobody, until I lay eyes on something that has a August 2025 stamp on it, nobody's gonna convince me that any of that shit was done even any later than like June June 15th,
and
June
Charmaine,
30th, maybe.
and don't forget, like, in that article, and that's one thing that did stand out to me too, is that basically that no evidence of criminality has been found basically yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yet.
Right.
So it's
Well,
yet.
because they're keeping the options open, but everybody
course.
is still stuck on, well, the RCMP ruled out abduction. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't have any evidence to support that in the very beginning. But
Correct.
that it's clear, you guys, the kids have been abducted. It doesn't matter if it's a family member or a stranger. Abduction is abduction. They were abducted. These kids did not hitchhike down the road and get let out. They were abducted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Period. Come on.
They were taken off the property.
That's right, by somebody other than their parents, and their parents don't know where they are.
Wait,
And it doesn't even matter. You could be a parent and take kids off the custody. If you don't have custody, that's still an abduction. If you have visitation rights and you don't give your kids back, that's still abduction, you guys. The kids were abducted.
And the only evidence that they didn't have, that they couldn't prove abduction, is that they couldn't put out the Amber Alert, because with an Amber Alert, it needs the suspect, which we have none here, because I don't believe Malaya walked these children to the road. I believe that she stayed in bed until she heard quiet. And once she heard quiet long enough, she knew that was all right, because she says she's the only one that was awake. She was in and out of sleep. Daniel says he was asleep totally. Who do you believe? But I don't believe that Malaya got up out of bed over Daniel, walked these kids to the end of the road, and got picked up by somebody. That's not the way it went down.
I also want to ask you, so what do you guys think that, Janie's, what is it called again?
Physiology.
Physiology. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? Janie. Come on, Janie. If you can dig up for pools.
I'd like Charmaine to go first on that one, because I think it's nerves, but I don't.
Why?
I think it's substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it could be drugs, and drugs will affect you in different ways.
I didn't say drugs. I mean alcohol. I think that...
Well, alcohol is a drug. It's an addiction. Put it that way. I shouldn't say a drug, but
I mean, it could be narcotics, but I'm thinking alcoholism, and she might have been under the influence and not able to test.
Yeah, because I think in the way
That's what
they
I
said
think.
it, they basically said that it's like her physiology was inconclusive to be able to take the examination, was it not? Wasn't that sort of the way it was implied, or was I wrong when I say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was doing the live earlier, when Bev was on, and she's been a defense lawyer, she's a child protection lawyer, and she's going to be again a senior prosecutor in September. There's to me, this lady has a vast amount of experience, and I get it. It's just her opinion, but she ain't buying into that. This whole missing thing, this whole children taken thing, because there's too many things to lead that it's not that. To be honest with you, I mean, Daniel doesn't want to. Why do you think Daniel doesn't want to admit that he does? Or he was doing at least meth.
I think I should clarify. I also do not think that they were abducted. I was getting at the fact that the RCMP are going off the premise at this point that the kids were abducted. I haven't changed my mind at all. These court documents, again, change nothing for me, but I should have clarified that.
Yeah. My information, you can't rule out taking the kids to the pipeline while upset and then going back and forth all night is trying to find them after he left and came back. You know, I remember Haley saying something like, so that's why you were running around like a chicken with your head cut off. And then Wade said he looked yellow as shit, meaning Daniel, you know, and stuff like that. But anyways, my brain hurts because I always, no matter what, will still keep an open mind to this fact. But I can't, for me personally, I just can't find this timeline that they've created themselves of when it happened. So if Malaya says that she was sleeping all night and didn't wake up until the morning, according to the article, or according to the documentation, I should say. So what about the fact of, you know, her getting up and seeing Daniel doing math and that he's up all night, you know,
Well,
and stuff.
And that also goes back to my point. I had asked Daniel the question, like, because Malaya said what time she put the kids to bed,
7 or 8.
around 7 or 8.
Then we got 9,
But
10.
then in this article,
Yeah.
she said that she told the RCMP 9, and then she switched it to 10. And Daniel, when I was communicating with him and asking him questions, he said that the kids were already in bed when he came in from outside helping his mother with the fence at about the time when it was getting dark. Well, that would mean about 8 o'clock at that time in May.
Right.
So, again, we go back to what Malaya stated to you, and we can't trust anything that they say, except for I have one fact that we know is true. I think we can pretty much say it, and that was the time that the 911 call was made of 10:01. We finally, 4.5 months in, we've got that confirmed. That is the time. There's no more time, 9:40, 9:45, 9:10, whatever. It was 10:01. Everything states that. Other than that, we're still being fed whatever we think we want to hear.
Well, let me look
Whatever
quickly.
they think we want to hear. Put it that way. Not what we think. What they think we want to hear.
So 56% said the family knows the truth. I refuse to believe that they are hidden as 16%. I think that they are hidden and taken as 12%. So people really just don't really still believe. I don't know. I don't think that like
We all know that the family knows. Somebody has to.
Yeah. Well, that's just it.
It's not a magic trick.
But that's just it.
We've got 2 kids missing here.
Yeah.
It's serious shit, people. And for the ones, when I say for the ones that are not telling us the truth, shame on you. And that's the entire family, because they're all licked with the same stick, as we would say here in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I'm thinking about Emmanuel's case, and I'm thinking about, you know, how the parents are speaking, and you know that they're full of shit. And again, when something is this difficult to try to figure out based on their own words, and you're getting this said, no, it's this, no, wait, I changed, I forgot this, now it's this, now it's this, now it's this. When something like this transpires, it's because, in my personal opinion, it's because we're being lied to. We're simply being lied to. The RCMP, in my opinion, is being lied to about this whole timeline of events and stuff like that. I probably agree with the fact of Janie being so freaking hyped up. I mean, watch the interview, right? She probably wouldn't even pass shit, to be honest, with how amped up she is, to be honest with you. But she can sure dig those potholes and rake that pool, can't you, Janie? But anyways, this to me is just absolute BS. I personally still, even though I have that opening for thinking that this happened, this honestly, after thinking about it, it very little changes anything for me, to be honest. Because when something is this difficult to try to understand, and you got Malaya doing her weird ass shit, and Daniel freaking bipolar ADHD, whatever the fuck going on there, grandiose personality, and just builds himself up like he's the greatest person still. And this is just strange. It's odd. And for Belynda to truly be, Daniel, I can't include him in this part, but for Belynda to truly be the only true advocate for Jack and Lily is disgusting to me. Like, if you know something, say something, speak up, right? Like, if there's information that you don't think is important and it is important, and the RCMP doesn't know it and stuff like that, like, bullshit's going on here. But the thing is that at the minimum, that there should be advocation to the news. Okay, besides Daniel, because obviously he's talking to the news. But from the Brooks Murray side on there, again, so why aren't they advocating for Jack and Lily? Besides the few little instances, in a sense, right? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Stuff like this, that's because there's BS going on. And that's how I see it. And I don't see this still as like Charmaine and everyone, says too, is that when there's too many moving parts in a case, the chance that's more of chances that you're leaving data behind, a trail behind you, something, right? So to think that they got their devices, and I know this is of July 16th or whatever. I know that they got their devices. They are obviously cams and stuff like that and all this stuff. You don't think something might have showed up in any of their phones? And
Oh, yes, it did.
well,
Why
actually,
do you-
remind me. Remind me.
Why do you think Malaya scrubbed her phone of
Thank
the
you.
app?
Now, I don't recall that being in the article that we read from Globe and Mail. And
But it was in CBC's.
right. So yes.
Okay,
so
so can we just whoa. There is no scrubbing of anything. She deleted an app, and yeah, it's suspicious, but can we just point our fingers for a half a fucking second at the RCMP? Why did it take them until then to check her phone? Really? And not to mention, that information is still on a server. So they will get that information if it's there to be found.
Oh, they
haven't
already got it.
released anything.
They've already got it.
What, the
Charmaine,
message?
I'm not saying that she scrubbed the info. She deleted the app, and her reasoning for deleting the app is because she's not out there in the boondocks anymore, so she wasn't going to need it to make Wi-Fi calls on Starlink.
Okay.
But
but my
the
point
RCMP, the RCMP had that. Like, they took her phone the first week. It wasn't that they just found that out on that date. That's when they were able to process the warrant and get the warrant to be able to go and get the account information and everything that was in it. Was there anything in it? We don't know. We know there was one call in it that they would have seen, and that's the 911 call, because we've seen the track of it at
they
10:01.
would have that information on their end, but we don't know. But we can say they either don't have it yet, the data from that app from the server, they don't have it yet, or say it with me, there's nothing there.
Yeah,
Like,
if they
it's not
issued the
just
warrant
black and
back when
white.
they
They either,
said
yeah, it takes
they,
time though. Celebrate and that investigative stuff where they have to take information off a server from a deleted app or deleted pictures or deleted anything off a phone. It takes time. They might not have it. I think they do, and I think there's no arrests and they haven't found the kids because there's nothing there. She didn't do anything. Is she acting right? No. Is she being suspicious? Yes. But if there was a call there and something for them to investigate, the kids would be found by now, unless they're not with us anymore. And that's how they're hidden. But if they're alive and well and with family or something in New Brunswick, they would have that information from any phone calls or anything that Malaya did on that phone.
but who's saying that she did that? I'm just saying that she deleted the app, and the reason why she said that she deleted the app, and the fact that it was, as that date was stated, that's when they made the request. Like you say, we don't know if they received that information back from that company yet, or they did and there's nothing there. They haven't told us that.
Exactly. So to me, at this point in time, it's just piled on with the rest of the shit that was released today. It means nothing as far as where the investigation sits today. Nothing.
No, it's as of July 16th.
It means nothing. And when was the blanket sent? Do you know what I mean? Like, that information just came to us after July 16th. So I'm not saying it took that long to send
that was
the blanket
around
out.
the end of the month, in the end of July, when because I think it was the August, that early week of August, whenever the update was done. That's when they stated that they sent the blanket forensics, and that's the same. Like, forensics takes a while, especially if they're looking for unknown DNA sources, because I know in my mind, like, they would suspect that Malaya's, Daniels, maybe Meadows, but she might be small for her to be around her. But I think Lily would have been around her, that her DNA could be there. Lily's would be there, and Jack's could be there. They would be looking to, and maybe even Janie's. They would be looking to see if there was any unknown DNA sample. And when you're
Exactly.
comparing unknown DNA samples to nothing, or ones that you would suspect would be there, that can take a long time. Like, it's not like in the movies where in a 1 hour TV show they get the results back and know where to go.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So
Yep.
the information in and of itself is a big fat nothing burger. Because if they did have it back and there's been no sighting, no investigation, no finding of the kids, then we can assume that there is nothing on there. But we don't know if they even got that information back yet. So, like I said, my entire point, that entire release, people chomping at the bit for any kind of updates, especially court documents filed by the RCMP in Canada under the blanket of our entirely strict and, in my opinion, ridiculous Privacy Act. I have to apply to get a mugshot for a man who's already finished serving his sentence, is big news for CBC, CTV, and for the people that consume it, because they just consume it without scrutinizing it.
Just
or
in that
knowing
principle
how
itself.
the system, they don't know how the system works. And there's not a lot of people out there that understand how broad and how far reaching our Privacy Act is. Like I said, go on and try to find a mugshot of somebody who's already served their sentence, found guilty, convicted, served their sentence, and released. Try to find it.
And
You still have to apply.
I can honestly see some of these American channels start calling us liars because they say that RCMP never released. We've always been saying that they never release this stuff, and then what the fuck do they do but come out and release it?
And it's because it's got, to me, in my humble opinion, it has no bearing on where the investigation is today. And I really hate to take the wind out of everybody's sails. Oh my God, we finally got an update, RCMP, blah, blah, blah. No, we got the remnants of their investigation that they've deemed to be irrelevant. That's all we got today, in my opinion. But the hoopla that it causes is what got my blood boiling, because now everybody is going to be focused on this instead of putting pressure where pressure needs to be put. And I have never swayed from that.
Charmaine, are you eating as you're talking?
I'm cooking supper. I'm not eating.
Hmm.
Ian is pulling in right now. I'm making beef dips.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yes.
I had something.
It's almost bedtime here, and you're just eating supper.
Well,
It's like almost 7 here, Kent. It's not bad.
Yeah, I know. It's 1 minute after 11 here, so.
well, I was gonna say, you know what? Honestly, I'm like, do you guys have anything else to say? Because I personally have groceries coming soon, and I have stuff to do. Does anyone have anything else that they wanted to add before we go?
No, like I said, I was infuriated all day today, and
Yeah, I know.
I really wanted to be here to tell Belynda, like, kudos to you. I think that that's fabulous what you're doing. I think it's going to help put pressure where pressure needs to be. And I think that we should take the information, maybe talk about it, but don't dwell on it, guys. Just understand that this is likely shit that they've already determined to be irrelevant or non-invasive to their current investigation. Because
Yeah.
the RCMP simply does not work that way.
Really did come off like a tabloid, like with that
It did.
whole. Like honestly, it did. I was like when I was like reading it, I'm just like, so they're putting this big ass story in about a lady that May 31st put in a tip about.
See,
I don't
that
know.
wasn't in the CT or the CBC article at all. Because when I went back to the chat groups, everybody said, "Oh, this gold vehicle, this tan vehicle." I said, "What the heck are you guys talking about?" And they said, "Well, it was in the article." I said, "It wasn't in the article I read." And I read this, and because, like I said, the first one I seen was the CBC one, and there was nothing in there about that tip. And then when I went and I read the CTV one, it was in there. And then when I read the Globe and Mails, it was in there. And I said, "Well, that's kind of funny," but I said, for them to, or for the, and then for them to for CTV on the news, on the TV, even release the name of the person that put that tip in. So I automatically said that has nothing to do with the case, because like Charmaine says, we don't get the affidavits and stuff as it is, but for the media to report the name of the person that gave the tip,
Okay.
would we all like to know the name of the person that gave the tip for the car that said the car was driving 6 times for the night before?
I was amazed at that. Like, you know, what was it, Natasha?
Hayward.
Yeah.
Hayward.
Yeah.
Now,
Natasha,
whether that's a real name or one that they just put in there, I don't
they
have a
wouldn't do that.
clue. But
No, they wouldn't
I
do that.
was shocked.
Court
They wouldn't
documents
do that.
they can't lie. That's the name that's the name. They're not
Like,
going to
I'm
lie in a
amazed that
court
it wasn't
document.
redacted, right? Like, so hey, sorry, Natasha, you were outed for that call in. Like, it's just, normally they redact names, right?
Yes.
And so I'm amazed that was there. Actually, when I seen it, I was just like, in my head, I was like, nothing like calling
But
out somebody
was
publicly.
it in the CTV written article or the Globe and Mail article? And I read
Global.
them, but like I say, I only because I had already read the CBC one. But the CBC didn't include anything about that vehicle and or her name. I know the other ones included about the tip with the vehicle and stuff, but in the written articles, did they include her name as well? Or was it only on the TV? Because if it was only
No,
on the
it was in the
TV,
article. It was in the
okay,
article.
okay.
That's
No,
where I
I was
literally
just
read it
wondering
from.
because of it. It seemed like it was only CTV that released the name, and I was wondering, like,
No,
was that a screw up by CTV or?
no, it was literally in the Globe and Mail article. Is it still there? Let me see. Clumps of boots. Let me just take a quick look here. Oh yeah, Natasha Haywood, who filed her report. Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
shocking to me.
It was to me too, because that's like you might as well just you do a like Bolo, Natasha Haywood. You just been outed. Okay, for
So
you.
that must mean that if you want to submit tips and you want to remain anonymous, that means to contact Crime Stoppers. Because if you contact the RCMP, your name might be given.
On there, absolutely. Um, anyways, I'm gonna like again for me personally, let the RCMP have their job to do. We have our job to do, which is to keep awareness for Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily, again, they just didn't vanish from that property. So this article, like at first when it came out, I'm like, oh, for F's sakes. Now people are gonna keep going on this missing and hidden train, like and and stuff like because and Daniel's gonna walk around with a puff chest and Darren's gonna be like that and whatever. No, just all I ask is that people uh, take it with a grain of salt, like anything, but use it logically. Um, just think about what's been happening in this case for almost 4 months.
4 months. I can give you a comment from Darren.
Sure,
He said he don't know what to think of it.
he doesn't know what
He doesn't know what to think of it.
of this
I read
whole.
him the article when it comes out, and he said, "Kent, I don't know what to think about that."
Well,
That's what's his response.
I will say this again about Darren. Um, I wish he would have stayed in the middle um, of Jack and Lily, right? He could have
Yeah,
easily.
he was doing it for the right reasons, but got excited.
Yes. But then it just became about, I believe, Daniel and Jamie. But when it should have just been, you know what, play both sides of the fence, get your answers, believe nobody, in a
But
sense. Just
you know he's not talking to Daniel now.
no, why?
What? No,
Can I
the
ask?
last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks they haven't. I can't tell you why, but
Okay.
all I can tell you is I can't tell you why from Daniel's perspective,
Yeah.
and all I can tell you from Darren's perspective is he was starting to question some things he was saying. So whether he sat back and thought about things or what, I don't know. Can't tell you that. All I can tell you, he hasn't talked to him in over
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, all I know is still like is this, right? Um, when Darren came on, and I was actually listening to, I think it was he comes in this channel sometimes, and it was something like Underwater UK, something Underwater UK, and he was playing Darren's clip from when he was talking to Dolly, you know, and like he said, like I am not on anybody's side, I'm just on the side of Jack and Lily,
Yeah.
right? And still that remains for me too. Daniel and Malaya or any other family members, whatever shit that they have going on or whatever mistruth or whatever's going on, but Jack and Lily, it was the focus, right? This whole thing, and this should not be difficult. Again, if people are sincerely from the family member side, excluding Belynda here, are and there's I know that there's some more, but again, then act act like you really want to find Jack and Lily if they're out there. You know, it's the parents' role, the family's role that should be out there flapping their gums, bringing attention, keeping this case out there. Do they or do they not want to know what happened to Jack and Lily? Right? You can't sit there and think that you can just leave it in the RCMP's hands and that they're going to sit there and wipe your ass and do everything for you. They're there to do their role and their job, right?
Yep.
But
and where do they get all their information to start from?
Right, right, exactly.
Right? If the
Absolutely.
family's not telling them the truth, they got to work their away all the corners. The same as us.
That's just it. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here, right? We're trying to understand some truth to this sad case of two missing beautiful children, you know, bringing awareness. But the thing is, again, the family members, they should be speaking loudly. They should be speaking from the top of their, you know, rooftops, absolutely, to keep awareness for Jack and Lily, right? It shouldn't be relied upon like that. The YouTube channels, well, they sit on their tuffet in a sense, and then RCMP are supposed to do everything. No, RCMP need the help of the public. That's what they're wanting out of all of this. So casting out this article to try to, you know, put a little fishnet out there, whatever, and stuff like that, and see what comes of it. Again, who knows? At the end of the day, though, something happened to Jack and Lily, and this case shows no signs of it being truthful. And so, yeah, so if they're being fed a bunch of crap from the people that were on the property, they have to weed through that shit. But again, I mean, they do have some things going against them. They are in a rural community, you know, again, if they leave their phones at home and they're not being used, right? So it's harder. It's not like when you're in the suburban area and you got Ring doorbell cameras everywhere. This is a very secluded area, you know? And so, yeah, so I can see that it's harder. And again, it reminds me a little bit of, what's his name? Dylan Rounds. And it could be a whole desert out there. Well, out there's a whole bunch of trees, right? So if there's nothing from the property that is showing, there's no dog scents, there's no this, they can't find anything up until this point. I'm sure they are obviously struggling. But what they did say was that evidence, there's nothing to point to criminality at this time. And that was back then. Maybe it's different now. Who knows? Either way, Jack and Lily need voices, need you guys to hit the like and the share to get to the algorithm, keep the story out there. Again, Belynda's been the one that's been so proactive, and Daniel can claim it all he wants, you know, about bringing to the media. I mean, it has helped, obviously, you know, in certain ways, but I'm still not buying into it. A case doesn't end up like this when truth is being told. You know, it doesn't.
You know what? A statement that I was talking to somebody the other day, and the statement got me triggered. And I said, it's pretty bad when strangers, and this was stated to me when we were lining up for the parade last Saturday in Thorburn, is that the strangers of the community and the country are showing more care than the immediate members of the family on the property that day.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know.
And why is that?
Well, exactly. All
Right?
I hear, right, absolutely. It's pathetic.
And anyways, I'm going to say goodnight, everybody. Hope everybody enjoyed. Hit the like on the way out.
Thanks, Ken.
If you're Nova Scotian, you want a sign location, let's keep their faces out there.
Absolutely. I absolutely. Signs everywhere. Daniel is out for himself. Well, Daniel doesn't think so. Okay. Charmaine, so yeah, we're going to head off. Charmaine, was there any Any last comments? I know we've talked about the bench, and that's going to be in the process of thinking at the moment of what's going on with that. But is there anything else you want to say, Charmaine?
No, I'm good leaving it at that. I
Yeah.
said what I wanted to say. Hopefully everybody heard me,
We
and
heard
if
you.
you didn't, and you wanna dwell on this stuff and dissect it, you're a better person than I am, because I think it's a big waste of time.
For the most part, besides some tidbits in there, absolutely, myself. But
Yeah,
you know, like,
learning how we got here.
yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
useful.
exactly. How did we get here? Almost coming up to 4 months, you guys. 4 months. Isn't that pathetic? That's really sad. Yeah. But anyways, so hopefully everyone has their brain cells working for them, and understands again, what came out. But think about everything that's transpired in this time, and just lose logic and common sense. And again, I thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for Belynda and Bev for earlier, Charmaine and Kent for tonight. Thank you. Sorry, there was Mick Mac. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. And Colleen, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, by the way, there was somebody named Maria. I'll just say Maria P. That put in a $5 to the PayPal from, like, oh my goodness, I think it was like the 9th or something like that. I don't know how I don't see those sometimes. Wow. I mean, it's not like I log into my PayPal every day. I just don't. I just happen to be checking it because I use PayPal for everything that I do. Pretty much everywhere I do something is through PayPal. 99%. That way you can just go, yeah, cancel that subscription. You don't got to worry about going to the different places. But anyways, you guys, I'll tell you what. My brain thinks already overdrive. And I've had a headache 5 times, and I don't suffer from headaches, but I've had a headache each time I've woken up. I go to bed sleeping about Jack and Lily. I wake up thinking about Jack and Lily. Now, don't get me wrong. Emmanuel's case I was following, to see what was going on there. But, I'm so glad that the parents have been arrested. I'm so sad how that case is turning out. No matter how this case turns out, Belynda, thank you for speaking up for Jack and Lily. Thank you again to Daleen Thomas for pro bonoing the case for Jack and Lily for Belynda. Again, Sky Painter, thank you so much for taking on the amount for the shipping and stuff like that. And Charmaine did say if anyone wants it back, if not, it's going to search and rescue for that. And I checked with Lana, and she said it's the slow mail. Oh, I'm not. I think the was mail. But anyways, you guys. So I might do a live tomorrow. I need to gather my thoughts is what I need to do here. I just need to run by things and I like to reread and reread. So that's what I want to do here. So I might do a live tomorrow. I just don't want to say what time because I'm not sure. But anyways, and maybe by that time, I'm not sure. Charmaine, are you doing anything tomorrow? Any particular? Are you going out on the water or anything?
What time? What day is it tomorrow? Saturday? No.
Yeah, I'm there. Well, let me just put it this way. I'll put it out there. If I do it, you might have some certain other thoughts by tomorrow. That's kind of what I need. I always need to absorb information. And today I didn't have a lot of time to absorb this because I was doing it live. And I kind of just found out about that prior to going live, like within an hour. And I was still trying to get ready and prepare for the live and stuff like that. So I just want to go back and I want to read over it all again. And just for like the little tidbits that I would deem as important, not for the sake of some person on May 31st that sent in a grade 10 tip. That one just goes out the window, to be honest with you. But I understand that the RCMP don't really have answers at this point that we know of, besides of the fact, based on the information then. But in saying that, again, I personally don't believe that these children are hidden anywhere. There's just too much that would have to be done to make that happen. Hey, Charmaine, let me ask you something quickly. Don't you think it was odd that Jack was put to bed with a dinosaur and Lily was put to bed with her strawberry corduroy backpack?
Yeah, that's
I
it sounds like a version of the story that maybe we didn't hear, but remember, they tell the RCMP the truth and lie to everybody else. So
right, because it's okay
Yeah.
to lie. It's okay to lie. You can lie
it's
to
totally
me.
okay to lie.
Yeah,
For sure.
absolutely. Right. But anyways, guys, okay. Well, you guys, thank you guys all for being here again. If you haven't hit that like and the share for Jack and Lily, thanks for all you guys do. Again, the rocks, you've done them up. And let me just quickly show those again before we go. I'll show Belynda's quickly. Come on now. Okay, so these are the ones that Belynda did for Jack and Lily on there. So thank you guys again for anyone that's participating and making rocks for Jack and Lily, or anything that you guys are doing to bring awareness, or this particular thing is gonna, like, the things that are made are gonna go on to the video from Rachel McDonald for her new song, Where is Jack and Lily? So again, the deadline is the end of August here. Okay, guys? All right. So you guys take care. Have a good one. And prayers for Jack and Lily. Right, Charmaine?
Absolutely. Good night, everybody. Good night,
Good
Sunny.
night, everybody. Good night, Charmaine. Go have your dinner. On there. Okay. And where is it? Just trying to find. Oh, this one right here. We're just gonna play this little one again.
In the woods where shadows lay, Jack and Lily went to play. On a rainy May afternoon, now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We stand in prayer. Oh, Jack and Lily, where have you gone? We'll hold on tight through this endless dawn. In our hearts forever you'll stay. With every prayer we say,